Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Jacob's Ladder. It is 4:07 p.m. according to my calculations on the clock. That'd be 11. That's going to be an interesting number that we are going to dive into today. 7-11, in fact. And we got a lot of people here already. Make sure that you hit the like. I'm Jacob Israel. Welcome. We're going to talk about some interesting things. Some things that have just got my mind boggled. I've been like bouncing around in the back of my head all morning because of this. 7-11. If you know anything about Genesis, what happens on in Genesis 7:11, it is when the floodgates open. It's when the flood happens, the big flood. It's interesting. I've talked about the flood of Noah for a long time, for many years. Now, why am I talking about 7:11? Well, we just did a show a little while ago when the Trumpster, he got arrested, and then he's got his sentencing. The verdict came in. He's guilty, 34 counts, and on 7/11 he's gonna face the music. 7/11. What's weird about that was I did a show just a little while ago, and on that show I pointed all of this out. The fact that Elon actually did something. Here, let's just pull this up and let's take a look. Here's the show right there, 7/11. So you'll see 711 days, 711 days. 40 weeks after his mugshot, his famous blue steel mugshot. 40 weeks after, that's when it comes down. Now, the sentencing is going to be on July 11th. This was a big deal. This was my show that aired just a little while ago called Gaslit. There's more to Trump's guilty verdict than you know, and it's biblical. And oh my goodness, it is. You'll see that 7-11 gaslight that Elon put out a while ago, back in 2022. I think it was June 21st or 22nd or something. And that gaslight was pretty, it was like predictive programming. Isn't that right? Allie in Wonderland with the huge super chat. Welcome everybody, by the way. Allie, thank you very much. That's very cool of you. This is one of those shows where it really encourages my faith, and it really also shows that if this is planned by these people, mathematically, I would say that they're all geniuses, because 7-11 is connected to so many different things. And guess who's in the center of it all? Elon Musk. Go figure. Elon puts out that 7-11 tweet. That day, 4 hours after that tweet, stock market closes, and Tesla stock, 7-11-11. That's how it closes. But that's not that interesting. We've talked about what gaslighting is, and the fact that I tell you, you gotta, take your thoughts captive, and you can't just listen to what everybody says and just believe what they say. That a lot of people are gaslighting you, and that perhaps the fact that he put out a picture of a gaslight 711 days before the Trump thing went down, and we find out that his sentencing is going to be on 7-11, I say that's weird. But that's like nothing. In the grand scheme of things, that's nothing compared to all of the other 7-11 connections. Now, why does this get me a little goosed up? Because 7-11 is connected to the flood in Noah's day. Something that I, a while ago, said happened with the virus of the crown. That was the flood. Did videos about Noah's flood. Did videos where I told people to enter the ark. And then we entered into, the lockdowns and into our house. It was very strange. All of this stuff. Well, it seems like we're going to be like up for round 2 with the whole thing with the birds. The birds, right? The bird cough. That's like all the rage. You're going to find out 7-Eleven's attached to that too. And it's so... I don't know what I'm doing. I wake up in the morning. I get very early. I have my little breakfast, hang out with Ethan and the Dan. I get them off and I start going. I'm like, Lord, show me things. And then I get one thing after another thing and they pop off. So do me a favor, will you? Will you, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, because there are a lot of these shows that happen, but you don't want to miss them. You don't want to miss them. So I'm going to take this step by step. Okay. I'm going to give you a little, we're going to go back to the last show that I did, and I'm just going to play something for you just to let you know what we came off of, because we just came off of a day known as 666. All right. So I'm just going to bring you up to speed and start sharing things on shores, but this is just kind of a catch up with, this is like a little tease of the show that I just did. If you haven't seen it, you can go check it out. It's the one right before this, but just take a listen. On D-Day, 80th anniversary, is the SpaceX launch. SpaceX is launching as well. So you got all this stuff. You got Ryan Garcia talking about this. Oh, Jesus told him, so there's going to be an earthquake, right? Why does this get my attention? Because, of course, there's a lot of other things happening on the 6th. There's a new moon, which is happening on a major Hindu holiday, which honors the god Saturn. There's so much. It's very strange. But a tree is known by its fruit. So I do these little teases. That just kind of gives you an idea what we came off of. We just came off 666. Starship's epic launch. It was incredible. Watching that, I felt like I was watching a movie. I felt like I was watching something out of Armageddon, which is weird because a little bit later, Elon actually tweeted something out. He goes, oh, look, Starship's re-entering like a meteor. And I was like, well, why would you say that? Why wouldn't you just say he's re-entering like a awesome rocket? Stainless steel rocket, which is why it's reusable. Had a little bit of an issue. Had this little flap thing. And when it was coming back in, I know a lot of people, some that are listening right now don't even believe that there is such a thing as space. And they don't, who cares? I'm not really into that. I don't even care whether it's real or not. I'm just saying this is what supposedly is going on, and it's suspect. That Starship, which, by the way, Elon kind of calls the Ark of humanity, Noah's Ark. All it is connected to 7-Eleven. You're going to share this. This is going to be one of those videos that's going to go around. It's going to go around. Let me take this step by step, okay? I want you to stick with me. 7-Eleven, he puts out a little tweet on June 21st, 2022. And then, of course, 7-Eleven, you find out that the Trump hush money case is 34 counts, and we know that that is connected to a number in Strongs, which is connected to casting out a bunch of demons. Go back, watch the other show. But you have that. So you have that connection, the 7-Eleven connection from the 7-Eleven tweet on the day that Tesla got the 7-Eleven. And then we had yesterday, I'm working out, I'm doing my, I'm doing my cardio. I'm praying, I close my eyes. And then I'm thinking, I wonder if that tweet that he put out is like a 7-Eleven to yesterday. And it was. I mean, come on. What are the odds? So his tweet, 7-Eleven, connects 7-Eleven to Trump's gaslighting trial, and his tweet from June 21st, 2022 to June 6th, 2024 is 1 year, 11 months, 17 days. That's the backwards number 7-11-11. 7-11-11. 11-11-7. What are the odds? And that's not even the beginning. Who's feeling this? Is it just me? I'm a little excited because it just gets so weird. This whole thing, it's just so weird. Did he know this? Was this so planned? How is it planned? Could it be that Starship launched 7-11-11 at the exact same time? I don't know. You're going to have to find out. But this is quite a coincidence. So here we have Genesis 7-11 being a big deal. Strange. Gets stranger. Gets stranger. So I followed. Yes, it's very weird. Audrey's like, weird. Weird. Audrey, you think that's weird? You haven't even. Weird hasn't even started. And that's saying a lot for this channel because we've had a lot of quinky dinky doos that just. It's just weird. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on this month. This is very exciting because I don't think it has to be necessarily a bad thing. I hope it's not a bad thing. That's the truth. 7-11. So I watched this launch, which is 7-11, right? 11117 from when he puts that post out. So I think to myself, I wonder if there's a 7-11 attached to Starlink, to SpaceX. So I go over and I look at SpaceX's X, which, by the way, if you're on X, you should follow me. It's Jacob Israel 71. Follow me because I share a lot of stuff there. So I go to their page. Take a wild guess how many subscribers, everybody. Do me a favor, smash the like. Leave me a comment right now in the live chat. How many subscribers do you think SpaceX has? Considering this show is all about 7-11. They got 117. They're following 117. Following. That's a choice. SpaceX chooses to follow 7-11 backwards. Are you all going to share this show? Is it just me? This is a weird thing. But it gets weirder. I was watching this specifically because I was hoping, I even put like a couple of posts out. I'm like, it'll be weird if it starts at like 9/11. And I was looking for all of these weird, just coincidences or things that would connect with the launch. When does the launch start? When does it touch down? I asked Grok this right after it happened. And Grok first came back with 1 hour and 17 minutes. And I was like, but I did a little bit of digging. It's not the case. It's not the case. It was actually 1 hour and 7 minutes. Starship lifted off at 8:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it touched down at 9:57. So 1 hour, 7 minutes. It's pretty cool. Even cooler, the super heavy splashdown into the Gulf of Mexico at, well, you look at the clip that they shared, their 37-second clip, and you add it up, and it's the 111. Just very strange. Starship launch, 7-11, 107. Okay, all right, that's a lot of interesting coincidence. This is where it gets even stranger. On this show, if you're new, I'm what they call a speculator. I'm not anything special, okay? I want to point this out. People that take themselves seriously don't do this. People that think that there's something special, they come on and they don't goof around. They don't jibber jabber. They get right to it. They sound very serious. And then they tell you, and they go, oh, I know, and I know. I know what's going to happen. Oh. But on this channel, if you've been watching for a long time, you know that we're a little bit different than everybody else in the ecosphere of YouTube. A lot of things turn out to happen, and a lot of things happen to turn out to be connected in like a very interesting time frame, like a 7-Eleven time frame. So a little while ago, I do a video. If you look to the left of the screen, you'll see I put a post out on 3/14/24. This was the last Starship launch. And I wrote, Starship test a success. Congrats to Elon and SpaceX team. Starship was lost on re-entry. And I gave a little scaredy face. Woo! That's I like that emoji. I like that emoji. It's like the scared face emoji, but I think it's like, woo! I think it's just interesting. So this is attached to the Artemis 111 mission to get people to the moon. I said, pray God it's not attached to a video I did about Starship and a crash 1 year, 11 months ago, 111, 700 days ago. Very interesting. Now, I'd forgotten about this post, except for the fact that I brought up that very same video about 3 days ago, where I wrote Thursday Starship launch, 6/6/2024. I said last year on 6/6, smoke in New York. This year, I hope and pray a crash isn't on the way. A video I did 2 years, 1 month, 22 days, or 111 weeks. There's that 111 again. Now, what's weird about that? What's weird about that, the fact that both of them have that 111 and that 111, is that in between those two dates, what are the odds? It's 2 months and 23 days. Noah's flood. And then I wrote, can it be taken spiritually? And oh, yes, it can. This thing that's going on in the world right now with the bird cough that you're starting to hear about, it's giving me that like Virus of the Crown Part 2 vibes. Ironically, I kind of saw that coming, and I talked about this a while ago, but before we get into all of that, I want to point out that if you look at that thumbnail, you'll see that there's some bird poop on Biden's shoulder. That happened on April 13th, 2022. He was talking, and I don't know if you saw the video just from the other day. I think it was yesterday, the 80th anniversary. It looked like Biden, he was having some problems. People were saying he was looking for a seat. Some people were saying that he pooped his pants and then he had to leave. At one point he turned around. It was, and there's a lot of videos going around. I wasn't there. I didn't see all of it. I didn't see all of it in order, so I don't exactly know what really went down. But he's not looking too good, right? He hasn't been looking too good in a while. It's a thing. But I shared that video. Something weird is happening. The crash is on its way. And there you got some bird poop coming on. But what's interesting was that's connected. The bird poop's connected to the bird cough. It's one of the ways that it spreads. If it becomes weird how it's all kind of connected. But who would have thought that like space travel or starfaring space travel or just launches would be connected somehow to the bird cough? But it is. It's very weird. I put these things out. I call them little tests. If you're not following me on X and you'll start to see that I'll do this now and then. I'll write test and I'll put something out because I'm kind of like thinking, oh, this would kind of make sense and this would be cool if it was playing out in the world. And what I said was, my video from 2017 warning U.S. can now import the bird cough to Donald Trump's birthday, which is coming up on June 14th, is 7 years, 1 month, 1 day. 7/11. So I did this video. Some people said, oh, that video predicted the virus of the crown because it added up to whatever. I didn't say that. I did think it was strange, but that video wasn't about the virus of the crown. It was about the bird cough. You can take a look at the thumbnail right there. And you can see that the title, U.S. can now import, scientists call it the greatest threat to humanity. It's weird, right? So I think, right? That's weird. So then I think to myself, let me see how many days in between. Because of course I'm going, wouldn't it be weird if it was 7/11? And I do it, but it's not. But it was close. But then it hits me. Who was around for the first flood? Who was around for the first one? The guy that I had the dream about, remember? Where everybody thought he was going to win with a landslide, and I had this weird dream, and I'm like, I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's going to come back stronger than ever before. And this is what's happening. He was around the Trumpster. He's a big fan of Apollo. Some people actually call him Apollo, believe it or not. If you look at the background of the image, you'll see Apollo led in his chariot by Aurora. That's in Trump Tower on, I think that was the address or the floor is like the 66th floor or something. Some kind of 66. You know that the Devil's Advocate was filmed there too? These are just weird. Probably remember the video I did a little while ago, right? Sorry about that. I heard that I heard we had a little bit of an issue. Sometimes we have an issue. I'm glad you're sticking around. But the video I did a while ago with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And I put the two of their faces together because there were two statues of Apollo and Artemis that were discovered. It was years ago. So I put the two of them together and I said, oh, they're going to come together. Remember I did a whole video about it and I said, oh, I call them like the Wonder Twins, that like they're going to be the heroes of the future. And now it's happening. Like literally Trump's doing a space, which if you saw my last show, I talked about the Apollo and Artemis connection and the space where the two of them come together. Talked about all this. And guess what? That was connected to a certain amount of time as well, which is weird, very weird. So I'm thinking to myself, Apollo is known as the bringer of the plague and the person who cures the plague. If you read that, healing is associated with Apollo directly through his son, the demigod of medicine, Asclepius. But true to his dual nature, the god that protected from disease, the god that came up with the thing that supposedly protected against the disease. You see how it's sort of connected and people connected to, even though it didn't work. He also brought the disease. That's the idea. Apollo's many epithets included, they were always associated with like mice or rats, both as an exterminator, but also as the bringer of the plague. The most famous mythical incident of Apollo sending pestilence to those who invoked his wrath was in the Agamemnon story told in the Iliad. So here you have a picture of the guy who comes in. He is the hero that brings an end to it, but he's also the man who brings it. The last time that the Trumpster came in, I don't know if you remember correctly, but something came in with him, and then supposedly he did something to warp speed it out. We saw where that ended up. We saw how great that is. I'm going to play you something, by the way. A video that I did a long time ago, around this time when all this stuff was going on and everybody was so scared. I kind of prayed out into the future and I told everybody, this is what's going to happen. I told everybody, this is what's going to happen. You don't got to worry about this. I said, these people are going to be brought to justice. You know what? Let me just show it to you. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second to, wasn't planning on doing this, but it was a tough time, it was very very terrible time. But we're coming out of it. We're coming out of it now. And I think that we may find that the future for some people isn't going to be so hot, but for people that are going to do the right thing, perhaps it will be a good thing. This is an interesting time to be alive. It's probably the most exciting time to be alive. And if you've been following the channel for a long time, you know that a lot of stuff happens where, here it is. Let me pull this up. Give me 1 second. A lot of stuff happens that just doesn't, it does, you can't really explain it. You can only explain it away by saying it has something to do with faith. But if you look at this was July 20th, 2021. And I posted it on the 4th where I said, Fauci faces judgment exactly 2 years, 10 months, 2 weeks, 1 day. That's 21/21 or 12/12. I spoke against the sorcerers of the... and I told them back then that God is going to answer the Gideons of the world. And this is basically the idea that faith of a few can affect the many. All right, so just take a listen to this. Because this is going to tie into the end, even though I wasn't. We're going to talk about the power of words today. We're going to talk about the power of God today. We're going to talk about how God is going to deliver us today with all we're facing, how spooky it all seems, the madness that has happened. It also happened back in the day. There's nothing new under the sun. I've been trying to share this video a couple of times. Everything seems to be getting in the way. Audio issues with this, issues with that. And the reason is obviously I wasn't fully emotionally prepared to handle it, because I can be a scaredy cat like a little baby. I get a vibe that I need to talk about something. I see something on the TV. I see something being shouted from the rooftops. And I say, that's not right. That's horrible. People are being so irresponsible, but I wonder if it's being done on purpose. And once again, before I get into this show, I got to tell you something. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm just a normal guy with a normal job. I just have great faith, but I can see things happening, and I can understand that the system is desperately, and by the system I mean the beast system. We'll say the system that is run by carnal egoism. Right? Egotistical people that are in charge, oligarchs, billionaires, another country represented by the dragon, perhaps. This wash, rinse, repeat. And at some point, it's going to come to an end. The church says, teach me the truth no matter what the cost. But here I was all worried, should I talk about this? Should I mention the pandemic of the unvaccinated? And should I relate it to a story and a biblical discovery, a 3,000-year-old discovery of an inscription of a biblical judge who we know as Gideon? This is all too coincidental, people. You see, words have power. Power of your words. The power of life and death is in your tongue. Things that were spoken over you as a child, if you believed them, if you were told you're no good, you're going nowhere. This is what we wrestle against. Principalities and powers and rulers of darkness, and that's the... All right, so you get the idea. I don't want to play the whole clip because, it goes on for a little while. But here you have something that was from a while ago when we were knee deep in it. It was when all of that nonsense, it's psyops. It's the mind virus. They were really trying to infect you. They were trying to teach you that it was the people that didn't get the wackadoos' fault. That's what started it. They were really messing with everybody. And I remember being very stressed out at the time. Because at the time I was still working at this company. This was right before they came up with the whole, oh, you got to get this or else. Thank God I left, because, sometimes God nudges us to bring us out of the, into greener pastures. And here we are. So it's interesting because I said, they're going to pay. I talked about Gideon. I talked about the army of Gideon and how it only takes the voice of a few who have faith. Gideon was scared. I was scared. I remember being stressed about it. But I was like, oh, I still sell mattresses. It's not like I'm making that much money. Back then, it was like, oh, I'll be okay. But I'm willing to throw it all down. That's what you had to do. That's what Moses did. Moses was like, what do I have? I don't got a lot. I got a little. So you throw it out. I put stuff out there. It sounds nuts. And then when it happens to come to pass, people are like, oh, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. You're trying to put yourself over. It's an uncomfortable place to be, to speak out in faith, to speak like I have a vibe, I have an idea, and I think maybe this would be cool. I have a feeling, like I was saying, that we may hear of some big thing, like when they actually declared it the last time. When they declared it the last time, maybe they're going to declare it again. And I thought, wouldn't that be interesting if there's a 7-Eleven tie there? And there is. From my video, we're like, oh, this is what's going to happen. So weird. 7 years, 1 month, 1 day ago. But I do what I do because this is the whole point. We want to affect change in a good way. And I don't know if, I don't know what I honestly, my goal here with all of you is to, I hope to amaze you. I hope to wow you. I hope you just say that doesn't make a lot of sense, because I know there aren't other channels doing it. But why do I want to do that? Because the only reason why I can do that is because I have this abandon when it comes to my faith. I'm just I just want to do the right thing. Teach me the truth. I want to know. So I look at things and then I go, well, what does it mean, Lord? And then I get why do I see 7-Eleven everywhere, Lord? And I get wouldn't it be weird if the launch was 7-Eleven backwards? And it what? These things, they must be happening for a reason. So then I'm like, oh, good grief. Does this mean that there's a flood coming? Now, what I do here is that I don't try to scare you because, just like I showed you with the Ryan Garcia guy who says, oh, there's going to be a big earthquake. It was like nothing, and I wrote psyop. It's like there was a time when I was scared, so then I projected that. But I'm not scared anymore because I have faith. Why do I have faith? Because look at these videos from how long ago. And look at how it always matches up. Again and again and again and again. I just want you all to do one thing. Ask God for the truth. Just say a little prayer. Just say, teach me. Be better in your home. Be better in your life. Be awesome if you got yourself some truly free home product. If you want to support Jacob and you want to have, awesome product that's no toxins. You get these little cool things. You put them in. You make things smell nice. This is the space freshener. It smells delicious. All this, trulyfreehome.com. You use code Jacob, you get 30% off. These things you could do to help if you want. The main thing I want you to do, though, ultimately, I want you to go to God. I don't want you to go to me. I want you to pray. Because as I show you the next couple of slides, you're gonna probably need to pray. So, the bird cough. Is this the thing? So I go, oh, I gotta go back. I bet you I did a couple of other shows about the bird cough. I bet you I probably did one in that time frame. And I look at it and I'm going, oh, well, that's interesting. There's 17,000 views from 1 year ago at 7-Eleven. I go, oh, that's interesting. I said, well, let me look this up. Let me use Donald Trump's birthday again from when the video came out. So I'm like, February 9, 2023 to June 14, 2024. Wow, 70 weeks in 1 day. 17. 71 is 17 reversed. Dr. J-Man's place just said that in the chat. I was saying it at the same time. Apollo had 17 missions. Thank you very much, Dr. J-Man, for adding to the conversation. Like that, J-Man. Because I'm like a J-Man, right, Jacob? 17. This is big number. He says 17 like all the time. 17, 17, 17. You know what letter that is? Uh-oh. We don't want to talk about the letters. We don't want to talk about the 17th letter. It gets weird. It gets weird. But it's about to get weirder. Are you ready? Guess when Elon bought Twitter? All right, I got to come back to you. If you're not going to share this video around, because this video is freaking weird. If you're not going to share this around, I'm going to be very sad and disappointed in you. I'm asking you to share this video around because it has to do with the coming up. Do you know what else is coming up? On June 11th, this guy's birthday. Why do I keep pointing out my birthday? My wife's like, why do you keep bringing up your birthday? Why are you excited? And I said, because I'm going to get a fudgy to whale cake. Why am I getting a fudgy to whale cake, you ask? Because 3 years ago on June 11th, Michael Packard got swallowed by like a whale. And it was the Jonah story. It's 3 years. 3 days, 3 nights. I feel like something big's happening. June 11th. Turns out it's a huge holiday. Connected to when the Holy Spirit was poured out into the upper room. How about them apples? That's my birthday. It's my B-day. But Donald Trump's birthday is June 14th, right after. 1 year, 7 months, 11 days. Elon bought Twitter on October 27, 2022. Starship launched on June 6, 2024. 1 year, 7 months, 11 days. That's weird, right? I'm not the only one that thinks this is strange. We got a lot of people watching. We barely got likes. Will you do me a favor? Will you X out of chat right now? I know this is exciting. Will you hit the like? It helps me. It helps me. But here's another 7-Eleven. So Elon, his Starship launch, which was epic. Let me show you some of it. Let me show you let me show you some of the takeoff, just so you get a little taste. Get a little taste of the old Starship. All right, here we go. I mean, this was epic. You know, you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, and you hear that, but that was like almost nothing compared to when it was coming back on in. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, this isn't real. This isn't real. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter to me because it's like we live in our perception, and this is what we're being told is real. I'm going to assume that it's real. Yeah, but that Starship taking off right there, I mean, that's impressive. That thing, what is it, like the size of the Great Pyramid or something? It's huge. I was very stressed out about this happening because, I thought, oh, what if it had something in it? Or what if something went wrong? And you have it's so heavy, it's so big, it's so dense, and something goes wrong, What do you do then? What do you do then? That couldn't be a good thing. Couldn't be a good thing at all. 7-Eleven. Biden's bird poop. 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven to the launch, 1 year, 11 months, 17 days. His tweet, 7-Eleven tweet, it goes up to 7-11-11. It's just all weird. 7 years, 1 month, 1 day. And it is kind of connected, all of this stuff, because these are things that, if you remember correctly, at the same time all of this was happening with the bird poop and all that stuff, guess who was buying Twitter? Elon, right? And from buying Twitter to yesterday, another 7-11. It's connected. It's connected. Apollo and Artemis. Apollo brings the plague, heals the plague. Artemis is all about the moon. It's the goddess of the moon and the hunt. The hunt. Artemis, I don't know if you know anything about Artemis. Very interesting. Very interesting. 7-11. All of this stuff to me, I find to be more than just coincidence. I find it to be more than coincidence. There's no way it can just be coincidence. But you say, okay, well, why 7-11? And I go, well, I think it has something to do with the flood. I think it has to do something with the flood because I've done a lot of videos on the flood here. Noah's Ark. I've done these videos again and again and again. And what did Elon call Starship? He called it Ark. The Ark of space. On December 5th, 2022. Now, you know what's weird? First time we heard about the bird cough, really, was 700 vultures died. Guess where? I covered it back in the day. Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark. So from Noah's Ark and them dying of the bird cough to 6/6/2024, that would be 6, right? 24 is 6, 2 plus 4 is 6. 4 years, 4 months, 17 days. Starship. It's the Ark of space. Please tell me I'm not losing my mind here, right? That's a lot of coincidence. The majesty of this plan, it's either that or they're just being prompted subconsciously to do things at certain times or have launches, and everything just works together because God's in charge of it all. And then I pray, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to look at? And then I'm like, oh, thank you, because I get this little thought. Wouldn't it be cool if he bought Twitter? And that's a 7-11 too. And it is. This is how it comes. How does it come? Because I ask. How does it then produce fruit? Because God obviously answers. And we're in a time where I'm getting a fudgy to whale cake for a reason. Because the story of Nineveh is not a bad story when it comes to Jonah. And when Christ returns, it'll be like the days of Jonah. And in the days of Jonah, I want to set your heart at peace right now. This just hit me. In the story of Jonah, people repent. Who's to say that the heavens can't open and flood the earth with the love of God, the light of God? Who's to say that that can't be the flood that's coming? I have that knee-jerk reaction where I want to say, well, we were just talking about the Nemesis system and how he compared his rocket, he said a monument to hubris, and how I explained on the last show that hubris comes right before Nemesis. Nemesis is the Greek goddess of retribution. You could see, like, if some kind of meteor or something else comes in, hits, you could see how there could be a flood. That's the Nibiru cataclysm, right? And if you remember correctly, if you saw the last show, if you haven't, you should go back and watch it. It was weird. how I prayed, because I do a lot of praying, and I suggest you do the same, just in your head, just ask God the questions. You don't got to email me, Jacob, what do you think of this video? Just ask God to guide you and lead you. You don't need to be told, because then you start to rely on the person telling you. But I'm thinking the Nemesis system. I'm thinking the Nibiru system. And the fact that the channel took off, how long ago? It was like, right? We talked about this 8 years ago. 111, 8111. We've been at this a long time. How I was praying, is Nemesis coming back? And Michelle Alexander shared this AI trailer with me yesterday, or the day before yesterday, where he put me in as the Good Samaritan, which was funny. And in the first frame, it says, is Nemesis coming back? Which is like this doesn't make a lot of sense to people unless you're me, or unless you're one of the Israelites out there, because we're all the same. That's why I chose, I was inspired to take the last name Israel, because Jacob Israel is a symbol of all of God's children. I call my son Israel out of Egypt. Israel is God's child. It's a picture, just as Christ is God's child. It's a picture. Jacob Israel is a changed life. We're trying to manipulate and do everything our own way. And at one point in time, when Jacob's trouble starts, which I said would start probably around, 12, 14, right when the old wackadoo came out, and then all that weird stuff started happening. Well, we're coming out at the back end. So this flood, this 7/11 flood, there's that part that wants me to say, oh, maybe there's going to be something big. But I'm like, nah. I think this flood, let me show this for you. I think this flood is going to be coming from heaven above. That's what I want. And you know what? Listen, if by any chance there is some terrible calamity that takes place, and by golly, for years I thought there could be. I did a video a while ago, and it's going to sound strange, about Noah's Ark and the flood. And I had a picture of the scapegoat, and it was kind of a picture of like Jesus laid down his life for the world, to save the world, right? And that's what a scapegoat is. A scapegoat is, the world is so corrupt, we're gonna put all the sins on one person, and one person is gonna willingly lay down his life to help those in the world to avoid a coming calamity. That's basically what the story is about. It's about being saved. So I did this video about, who's willing to do that today? With the forethought that maybe something terrible was going to come. Would you offer yourself? Would you say, Lord, let me be a living epistle? I give you my life, Lord. Would you be like an Abraham and pray, it's not looking good, Lord. I'm a little worried about Sodom. I'm a little worried about Gomorrah. If there's a couple of righteous people, would you spare them? Are you going to be like that? Would you be like that? This guy is like that. That's all I got to say. So I have kind of good vibes about what's going to come. I do. I feel like this flood could be something wonderful. But I've been talking about this a long time. So let me go back and let me show you how long ago I've been talking about this. This is from June 1st, 2020. And this is just a little bit about the flood. And this has to do with...
On September 23rd, 2017, a prophetic sign appeared above Jerusalem. The Revelation 12 sign. Now this was the starting point of something much bigger that a lot of people didn't quite understand. It was the beginning of something new. A birth was taking place in the hearts of everyone. And when that sign appeared in the heavens, we knew that another would soon appear after it. the dragon. The dragon would come after this child that was being birthed in the hearts of everyone. He would cause a flood to come out of its mouth so that this promise would be swept away. And today there is literally another dragon, and we are dealing with the effects of a flood that has perhaps come from this literal dragon. As if these things were working together to tell us that as it's happening in the natural, so it is happening in the spiritual. So we see a flood that has come from a dragon indeed. But there's another flood that needs to be discussed. Jesus said to his disciples, "The time is coming when you will long to see one of the days of the Son of Man, but you'll not see it." People will say that it's over there or it's over there, but don't you go running after it, because just as it was in the days of Noah, so also will it be in the day of the Son of Man. Just like it was for us. We're eating and drinking and marrying, and everything was fine until the flood came and has turned our world upside down. And it is no wonder that we see evidence of Noah's Ark in the news. Here we see the Arctic seed vault. You see, God just doesn't do something without telling you first. It's been in front of our face for a long period of time, as in the days of Noah. So it will be. This is the day that we're in. That's why we see the world in the state that it's in. As in the days of Noah, so it will be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. People, this is the day that we've been waiting for. And while the dragon is working overtime to divide us, to tear us apart, we see God telling us all that it's going to be all right. As Noah and his family sheltered in place during the flood of their time, so too are we sheltering in place during the flood of ours. But God is in control. That's why on the channel for years now, I've been telling people to get ready. Get ready for the flood that was.
I want to stop there for just 1 second. If you just take a look at that. That was the thumbnail that I was talking about. Enter the ark. And then you'll see time to atone for our sins. And you see the scapegoat. It's interesting. I didn't notice before that it's 11,000 views 1 year ago. Well, it was 1 year ago from 2020 when I did that video. But this is an interesting thing. Keep listening.
Was to come. Enter the ark. Even the storms held a message that everything was going to be okay. It was time for us to go to God. It's time for us because the flood was coming. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know when it was, but I knew it was coming because the signs were everywhere. As in the days of Noah, indeed, this is the day that we're in, people. And that's why it's more important than ever before for us to find out what God is now telling us about this flood.
Those were the days. So, I mean, that was 2020. It was some 4 years ago. Very interesting. Very interesting. The flood. So do I think that perhaps maybe this flood could be a good thing? That maybe this 7-Eleven that we see everywhere, just to give you a little clippable, from his gaslight 7-Eleven sign, it was 7-Eleven days to where Trump was told he would be sentenced in 7-Eleven on 7-Eleven. Very strange. That same day, his stock went up to 7-Eleven. Very strange. Very strange. 7-Eleven. His tweet with that sign, 7-Eleven, was 1 year, 11 months, and 17 days, which is 7-Eleven in reverse. This is very interesting. Again and again. SpaceX has exactly 117 7-Eleven, It's following. It's choice. And the Starship launch from start to splashdown was 1 hour, 7 minutes. 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven everywhere you go. So you wonder why? I start thinking, oh, let's take a look at this. If the bird cough's out and Apollo and Artemis, they come at the same time, the Apollo and Artemis, and we got it happening at the same time. Got the bringer of the plague. We got the healer of the plague. We got the moon. We got the hunt. We got Pam in the super chat, being super generous. Thank you very much. Will everybody do me a favor and hit the like? That's something that is incredibly important. Pam's, you all are so generous. I appreciate it. I really do. 7-11 days, 7 years, 1 month, 1 day from when I did a video called "You Can Import the Bird Cough," and now it's being imported. That's very strange. But not just that. You got the 111 from the last time on a video that I did that had 17,000 from 1 year ago, 7-Eleven, which was 70 weeks in 1 day from Donald Trump's birthday. 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven. Come on. Elon takes over Twitter to the launch. 1 year, 7 months, 11 days. Is this done on purpose? Or is this just... Are we part of a program? Because everything's very mathematical? It's genius. Whatever it is, it's genius. Now, I did this video. 7-Eleven, and you'll see the 7 is scratched off, and then 9's put there, and then there's a totem. And I told you what a totem pole is. Totem is a monument. From that video that I did on July 2nd, 2022, to my birthday, 7-Eleven from heaven. You hear this? Now this is weird. It's 7-11 days. 7-Eleven from heaven, 7-Eleven from heaven. He opens the floodgates of heaven at 7-Eleven and pours out the water. My birthday, 7-Eleven from heaven, 711 days. What? So that makes me think, you know what? Maybe I can be excited. Maybe I don't have to worry about anything weird, like Roaring Kitty. Do you know who Roaring Kitty is? Who knows who Roaring Kitty is? I saw a great Netflix movie with this guy. It was really good. He's the old GameStop, Amazon, whatever, AMC. This morning I find out he's doing his return on June 7th at 11 Central Time, 7-Eleven. He returns to YouTube. From his last video, which you see above right there, it is 40 months and 17 days. So I make a little prediction. I go into his chat because I don't know. What do I know about stocks? You know? I only know Doge is going to be something because it's EGOD backwards, like the Sirius, the dog star. Get it? So I put this little post out and I said over 500,000 people tuned in to Roaring Kitty, who is now live. I predicted he would start his show at 7-Eleven, and his time, 7-Eleven, is when it began in reverse because it began at 11:25, 7-Eleven. Now that's probably a little bit of a stretch, but that's the stretchiest of it all, Felicia. Thank you for the super chat. That's the most stretchy. That's the most stretchy. Everything else is pretty much just lined up in such a way. How about my birthday? 7-Eleven from heaven. It's my birthday, 7-11 days. So let's read Genesis 7:11 now with new eyes. Let's take a look at this and not think that there's going to be some terrible cataclysm. Like Elon said, he put out this post. I don't even know if I have it. Let me see. He put out this post where he said that he said Starship was coming in. Starship was coming in like a meteor. Freaked me out. Freaked me out. Do you know what freaked me out was back then? I just played you something from that video from 2020. Back then, that video was about Noah's Ark. Now, here's what's weird. If you look at that thumbnail, let me see if I can blow this up for you. Very interesting. You're going to see that I did a video earlier and I said a revelation of Noah in 2020. And in that video, I said the rainbow was going to come. I said the rainbow was going to come. This was at the height of it all, the flood. And now we hear news of another flood, the bird cough. But I did this whole video. And the video is about the fact that, the rainbow's coming in Noah's Ark, which was kind of a covenant that God had, that he's not going to destroy the earth the way he used to. 3 days later, there was a literal rainbow at Noah's Ark. So 3 days after I say the rainbow is coming, there was a literal rainbow at the Ipswich Noah's Ark. So I've always had this feeling, this vibe that maybe it doesn't have to be such a bad thing. Maybe it doesn't have to be such a bad thing, But what do I know? Don't hold it against me if something terrible happens. I want to believe and I want to speak life. You know what the scriptures say that we should do? It clearly tells us, think on these things. Whatever is holy, whatever is pure, whatever is like joyous, whatever is, fun, whatever is, think on good things, whatever's pure, whatever's charitable, whatever is, fearless. I don't remember it offhand. I'm not like Rain Man. Well, I'm a little bit like Rain Man when it comes to scriptures, but I'm not full on, I might be if I had to have the whole wackadoo schedule that the kids have today. I'm, 71 baby, right? Weird. All right. So let me just pull this up. I had this weird vibe too. I just want to see something. I had this weird vibe as I was talking. I want to see how many days from my birthday when I was born. Sorry to put you all through this. Probably going to amount to nothing, but I had this is what I do. I get weird ideas and then I'm like, let's look into it and let's see how many days in between. Sometimes I include the end date too. And that doesn't, it's 53 years. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, nothing great. That was a complete waste of time, utter waste of time. I'm going to be 53 though. I'm going to be 53 if that makes you feel any better. All right, so listen. This is Genesis chapter 7. This is the King James Version. You can listen or read any version you like. And the Lord said to Noah, Noah, by the way, means rest. It's like the giver of rest is Shiloh. Noah is rest because those are my two children's names. Well, I have four, but that's two of them. Come thou and all your house into the ark, for you have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast you'll so take of the by sevens, the male and the female, and of the beasts that are not clean, 2. Everybody thinks they bring the animals in 2 by 2. Well, yes, but they also bring in by sevens. Has to do with whether they're clean or not clean. The beasts that are not clean by 2. Duality is not a great thing. Of fowls, also the air by sevens, male and female, keep the seed alive upon the earth. For yet 7 days, and I'll cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days, 40 nights. Now, let me just show you something. Okay? 7 days, 7, okay? And then there's the 40 weeks. You see that? The 7-11 and the 40 weeks? All right, let me go back to this. Because I see a parallel to what's happening here. 40 days, 40 nights, and every living substance that I've made, I will destroy from the face of the earth. And Noah did accordingly as the Lord commanded. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives with him into the ark, because of the waters of the flood. Now, water in Scripture, just so you know, let me just point this out. Let me come on over here so you can see me. Water in Scripture. Jesus walked on top of the water. He walked above the water. Water in Scripture is the ways of the world, the way people think. It's the waters of the world. Okay? So you have to understand that there is a literal and then there's a spiritual. The literal happened, we'll say, right? So that we can understand the spiritual today. Let's hope that the spiritual is what's happening. You know? Let's hope. Because the people that were called to come into the ark were those that God saw as doing righteous in the land. You know? And that just means people that are just doing their best to do good. You know? That's a lot of you. That's a lot of you. And if you've been following the channel long enough, you know I told you to get in the ark a long time ago. And that just meant, you know, bring your family together, get closer together. That's what Noah does. He brings in his wife, he brings in his children. During this time, get close together with your family. You know, make amends, make peace. You got to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing. All right, let me get to the end of this. So they went in 2 by 2 into Noah's ark, male and female. God commanded Noah, and it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. Here's 7:11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same were all the fountains of the great deep broken up. And what happened? The windows of heaven were open, and rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Now, 7:11 from heaven. 7:11 from heaven, the flood. All of these 7:11s that I just pointed out, what the enemy wants for evil, God uses for good. That is fact, people. So I think that as Gene Spliced is saying, 110 Starship, that's interesting. Dr. J-Man, God may be trying to get my attention about something. Yeah, I think so. I have a feeling something's going to happen. That's why I got the fudgy to whale cake, because I'm like, I might as well hedge my bets and get even though it was a great fish, let me get a whale. Let me get a whale for my birthday this time, because I'm hoping and praying that eclipse hit Nineveh in every place. I know I'm talking like, oh, I'm worried something bad's going to happen. I'm really not, though. I fully expect things to get very interesting. Maybe something will surprise us, but I don't think it's like, I don't know. I don't think we're done. Starship can't get us out of here. Not yet. Even though Elon said something like he's going to bring 1 million people to Mars in like a year or two. I don't know how he's going to do that. Unless, of course, it's going to be all data collection, right? They're going to have like AI based on all the data that they've collected from us being on X. That's why he bought it to begin with. Wouldn't that be something? Be weird. That'd be like we're living in the Matrix, which explains the Mandela effect. Which, by the way, if you follow me on X, Jacob Israel 71, I posted the second trailer for. I'm like getting excited about this now. I'm starting to think that this Mandela effect movie may, because the Mandela effect was like very, very. It's always been very close to me. Just something I can't explain. But it increases my faith. So, and then when I see all these 7-Elevens everywhere, that's like, it's all connected, all of this stuff. There's more to it. Makes life interesting. All right, look, go to the description of this video. Go to trulyhomefree.com. Enter code Jacob, get 30% off. If you want to get some of the merch, you can get the merch. We're supposed to be witnesses. Jesus says, you will be my witnesses. That's why I have this t-shirt. I am a witness. And that's my favorite verse, 11:11, which is when God breathed life into the witnesses and then they rose again. That's what it means, if anybody asks you. Also because my birthday's on June 11th and I like the numbers. So, and it's also 22, which is the last letter. It's like the Tav. It's the one that Musk wears around a lot too. Here's the thing, people. This is a very important spiritual time. and it's exciting. And I think that these shows are more exciting than anything I watch anywhere else. So will you do me a favor? Will you make sure that you're subscribed? Will you check the bell for notification? Will you get involved with me on Patreon if you want to support the channel in more than just hitting like and everything else? Links in the description. I welcome you there. I always check there. You can email me there, all that stuff. I love you. And I'm going to get out of here because I know the Dan's probably waiting. I think we're getting Chinese tonight. I got a hookup. I got a hookup at May Garden, which is awesome in Port Jeff. They're like the best. And they know me from when I was selling the old mattresses. I probably shouldn't have just told you that because I wanted to keep all that food to myself. But they're just wonderful people and they always give us a big discount. So I'm hoping they come through. All right, listen, I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and have the